Today we're talking with Bill and John Kizorek, who have worked on many nonprofit endeavors. Bill is a longtime friend of Insect Shield. Hi, Bill. How's it going? And John is Bill's brother. And we're going to talk about what they've done in the area of documentary films. Bill is a longtime videographer and a specialist in the area of documentaries on with video, and also putting this stuff up on the internet. So John's an author, and John, I don't know if you've written books or anything like that, but Bill, you are an author of roughly 10 books, and you've been on television as a featured speaker and authority. And I take it talking a lot about the nonprofit work that you've done. You've been a speaker, which I think we're going to talk about in terms of some of the additional work. And you've produced over 40 documentary films, which are pretty amazing. And we'll talk about those kind of in more depth here. So Two Parrot Productions you founded in 2001. This is your organization that's responsible for the documentaries. You worked with your daughter, Jessica, there on those. And you've got quite a big program that does grants to nonprofits to fund these documentaries. So welcome, Bill and John, to our program here.
Thanks for having us, Mark.
Yeah. So let's start, I guess, with you, Bill, and you have a connection to Rick Hammond, our Director of Business Development. Maybe you want to talk about that a little bit.
I probably should say that all 40 of these documentary films that we've created around the world might not have been done had I not met Rick Hammond. I saw him speak at a conference. He told me about his charity work. I was just bowled over by what he said. So we went on and we created a video for, at that time, Northwest Medical Teams, one of his favorite charities. And then we went on to create another 40 additional films in Africa, Asia, Europe. So he's been a great inspiration.
Yeah, that's awesome. You are kind of a partner with Insect Shield. We've got a page about you on our website, but there's a lot of material out there. You've got a YouTube channel that features a lot of these videos. So we'll put links to all this stuff below this interview. And I think we want to talk about some of the work that you guys have done together, and maybe we'll take a look at some of these videos briefly.
And I'll tell you what, I know the first one to do it because John Kizorek saved me in Cameroon. If it weren't for him, he fixed the camera, he saved me from the river blindness. And I would like to show you just a short clip from that first film.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Sure.
This was shot at the Jimmy Carter Center for the Blind.
Black fly breeds along riverbanks. The fly picks up the disease by biting a previously infected human, then transmits it to others it bites in the future. The fly deposits little worms, which then grow under the skin and cause intense itching, skin discoloration, rashes, and ulcers. Enough bites, and the disease spreads to the eyes, potentially causing blindness. Jean-Marie lifts his pant leg to reveal flies gnawing on his leg. After years of repeated bites, he is at great risk. Everywhere there are signs of the ravages of this disease. Women with leopard skin on their arms and legs, and nodules under their skin that is scratched raw. Hassan, a 10-year-old boy, has a nodule on his head, a manifestation of the disease. The disease flourishes in areas difficult to access.
So those nodules that are on those people's bodies and heads are actually little pockets of those worms that they showed in the video. So when he's pushing them around, they're little clumps of those worms underneath their skin. So it gives you an idea of how bad it can actually be.
Yeah, I don't know if that many people are aware of what's going on here, but how did you guys come to understand this and get involved?
Bill,
As far as Lions Club,
Yeah.
they applied for a grant and they won it. There, like 90 people went in for it, and we thought this was very important.
Yeah.
And the one thing we told the Lions Club and Jimmy Carter Center is, look, we need to be able to edit at night. We do these films on location. And John, you remember what the first day of work was? We started at 5 a.m. We drove for like 7 hours, filmed all day, then drove back. We were eating dinner at midnight the first day.
Yeah.
So much for our guidance.
Yeah. And I take it a lot of the work that you do, Bill, is pro bono, right? For these organizations. Yeah, so they can apply for a grant. We'll put the link to that. That's on your website. There's details about that on the YouTube page as well. But part of that grant is the work that you do. And where does some of the other funding for these programs, is that, like in this case, the Lions Club is funding it?
Well, the Lions Club, normally what we'll do is we'll supply the video crew, we'll provide airfares, but once we get to our country, the client, like Lions Club, will take care of the transportation, they'll take care of the hotels, and they'll feed us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
And this particular work, this documentary, was done in Cameroon. I don't know if that was mentioned in the video. Is that right? So you've worked in, I think what I read was like 125 countries. So not only have you done these 40 different documentaries, but you've also done some production work on video. And your background is quite extensive. I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about how, you got involved originally. You said that Rick Hammerling spoke at a conference, and you got interested in doing the nonprofit and pro bono.
yeah,
then.
so more than 20 years ago, John and I were both private detectives. And that's where I wrote most of the books about the detective business. And it ended up on Oprah in 2020, Discovery Channel, with the detective business stuff.
Okay.
And then it was bought out over 20 years ago, and was basically told, stay off television. And that's the same week I was basically fired from the company I sold. That's when I met Hammerling, and he created the next 20 years of
That often happens, right? When a company gets bought, I mean, they decide they want to take charge. But yeah, so super cool. And from that point on, did you just, I mean, I'm sure that a lot of organizations were more than open to what you were offering. So how did some of those initial projects go? I mean, these all go back many years, but I take it you've kept in touch with a lot of these organizations.
Yeah, one of the clients, Kids of Kilimanjaro, told us that he gave a fundraiser right after we came back from our trip to Tanzania, and he raised $179,000 after he showed our film.
Yeah.
So that was pretty impactful for him.
Right. And back then, how did you put these videos out? Because, the internet really, I mean, sharing video on YouTube, I don't know how long ago you started doing that, but I don't think it was right away, right?
That was up to the client, because in the beginning, a lot of times they'd have big fundraisers in person. And we'd give them films in 3 formats: internet, in person so they could put it on an IMAX screen, and then just an email kind of thing. And our job, our commitment was we would produce this, usually a 3-minute to 5-minute film, give it to the client, and they did whatever they wanted to, and then we were out of it. So we did not ourselves promote the films. But we got huge amount of feedback about how helpful it was to document, helping the neediest people in the world.
Right. I mean, video has continued to kind of explode over the years, but it was quite impactful then. I think probably anybody that's been to a fundraiser has seen, a promotional video. And John, you did the narration, I think, on the Cameroon river blindness video. What other involvement have you had? I mean, you guys are brothers. Do you ever get in fights over how things should be done?
It has, is working with family is always fun, and it's like that pendulum is as much as it swings to the bad side, it swings the opposite way just as much. And we have had some extraordinarily good memories of extraordinarily bad times, traveling and having equipment failures, and my brother Bill deciding one of our episodes we had to go in front of one of the local sultans. And Bill's going to smile there. I see it. I knew that was going to happen. And we had to go in and get his permission to go into the areas of Cameroon so that we could film the distribution of the medication for river blindness. And they told us, whatever you do, don't make him mad, because he actually has the authority to actually behead people. So Bill decided that
that's a deterrent.
So my brother decided it was a good idea to not only go in there, and he took our night vision camera and filmed us talking to the Sultan, which was specifically requested not to do. So the entire time I am sitting there in this room just sweating, waiting for somebody to come up behind me and grab us.
Oh my goodness.
So we have a lot of fun, and trying to figure out what they're feeding us from day to day, whether it's snakes or tiger fish,
insects. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, insects. You said the right word, because that's the next video. That's the next short video called.
Okay.
John, play that one.
What is it, Bill?
It's called Bugs, maybe, on your screen.
Oh, the Bugs Peril.
Yeah, and we wrote a whole book about this whole series of adventures. John edited the book; he was masterful, and it's an embedded video book. So if you go online to Perils and Rewards of International Filmmaking, all these videos are on there, including. He finds it.
Let me tell you about bugs. They're every place. There's tsetse flies, there's mosquitoes. When we filmed the silverback gorillas in the Congo, we sat in a bug pile. The bugs were all around the gorillas. When we filmed children in the villages of Ghana, there were so many bugs, you almost breathe the bugs in. The bugs are also in the form of red fire ants in the Congo, and they crawl up your pants and bite you every place.
People are getting eaten up by ants. They got bite marks all over their faces. I have yet to get a single bite. They got bite marks on their legs.
Oh, inside the pants. Got me behind the knee.
Oh, that's a signal. We can hear the gorillas right now.
Oh my gosh. Well, that must have been exciting. I'm thinking How?
Yeah, you're about 12 feet away from a silverback gorilla with no bars between you. It's a,
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and I mean, how were you how did you wind up in that situation? Were you there to film the silverback gorillas, or what were you
We did
documenting
a
something?
documentary. There was a charity called Docs, Doctor on Call for Service, and it was filmed in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Now, John did not go with me on that one, but a doctor did, Nicole Lippman at Lippenberg. And one part of that, talk about dangers, we were walking down the street and she wanted to take pictures in Bukavu, Congo of a building, like a hotel building. And we were snatched. She was snatched by 4 people showing a piece of paper saying secret police, and they wanted to take her away. So I had to jump between them and save her from being jammed into the car.
Oh
But
my
part of the
goodness.
trip, at the end of the trip, a reward for the doctors who went to the Congo and did all these operations was that we were taken up to see the silverback gorillas.
Okay. And survived, which is good, because we wouldn't have all your additional work after that. So, wow. Yeah, I mean, you're working in different countries in Africa. How about South America? Did you head down there at all, or was that a thing?
Let me see, John, I'm thinking back of the 40 or so assignments. Yes, we did trafficking and abuse of women in Brazil. We did for the United Nations. Very dramatic film, and I hope we have a link. We'll make sure that's on the website for a link, because
Yeah,
it's very impactful.
yeah. I
We
did see
sort of-
some of those. Uh-huh.
Well, we got all. I've been to all 7 continents, but we've worked on 6.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah. What do you have now? I take it your work was pretty intense. When would you say it was the most intense that you were doing all this work? Or is it just like a constant, intensity?
well, one of the John, tell about the camera thing in Cameroon, because we had one major studio camera, which decided it was not going to work when we got to Cameroon.
well, when we got to Cameroon, one of the cables that hooked to our external hard drive, which is where all of our video was being stored at, for some reason began to malfunction, or something was shorting out in the wire. And needless to say, trying to find a Best Buy in Cameroon was
Right.
not an option for us, considering that most days we spent about 8 hours traveling down these dirt roads that, to be honest with you, I didn't think we were going to make it more than 100 yards down the road, let alone drive for 8 hours at 45 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Thank you for fixing the camera, John. Still can't believe you did it. So that was really intense.
Wow. I guess sometimes you really have to improvise, and a lot like the documentary work is not so much the test as actually getting around to do the filming.
Oh, and we did one, John, get that thank you film. Here's a very short one, because we just didn't want to die when we're doing all these.
Right.
And that the Ghana one, John, where it's the thank you to Insect Shield. It's pretty cute.
Hey, number 1, thank you, Insect Shield, for supplying us for these hats. We are in the middle of river blindness everywhere. There's malaria everywhere, but we're not worried about it. Take 2.
Editing is part
Yeah,
of what
we
you
were very
guys
big
do,
fans
right?
of
Yeah.
Insect Shield.
Yeah, well, we should mention that because I understood that sometimes we just send you guys stuff for your work, which makes sense. We don't typically talk about flies that much, but our repellent does work against flies. So what have you done in terms of areas where you do need that? It sounds like many of them might need the repellent clothes.
Well, here, this is a story that you're going to love as a marketer yourself, Mark. We're doing a shoot for Insect Shield, and I think it was ex officio at the time, and we were in the middle of a forest. The model was wearing treated clothes. She ended up at the end of the shoot with no ticks. The assistant didn't have anything on and ended up with 17 ticks.
Oh,
I had one pair of white Insect Shield socks on, and I got no ticks. That was the difference. That's how stunning a pair of socks. And I was right next to the other person who got 19 ticks.
right. Well, that's how they operate. I mean, if they can get, often just climb up into your pants, then you're in big trouble. So the socks, and then we say, tuck your pants into your socks. So.
Yeah. Well, during our shoot in Cameroon, we actually had to remove our Insect Shield clothing to get the footage that we needed of the black flies on people's legs, because they kept talking about how many flies there were, but we're filming going, well, where are the flies? And then Bill and I looked at each other and realized that we had all of our Insect Shield clothing on. So we said, well, let's take it off and put it in our backpacks. And as soon as we took all that stuff off and put normal clothes on, the flies just appeared and we got the shot that we needed. But it was actually, the Insect Shield clothing was a deterrent to our film, since we couldn't get the pictures of the flies.
Creating the reality was not working out. Yeah. That's really funny. Well, the clothing does create kind of a halo effect, so it will deter bugs even from landing on you. But if they do land on you, they're not happy about the permethrin, so it works very well.
Hey, I'll tell you one thing it didn't repel, or maybe it did repel. But John, get ready to show that bear video you took, because we're doing another take. Thank you to Insect Shield or whatever. And this was right outside the house I'm in right now. Right behind me is a wild bear, 20 feet away. The only thing that John didn't tell me is that the bear was sitting down to begin with. During filming, the bear got up. So he's filming, not telling me, John, just show this. It's only 10 seconds, but it's
What do you think? We really love the product. It definitely works.
I said, why didn't you tell me this bear is?
So
you don't want to jeopardize this shot, right? I mean,
hey, I wasn't going to ruin the shot. I mean, it was one of those things. It's a one take deal. So
yeah. Well, it could have been one take for Bill in that situation, like final. That's interesting. No, bears are not, we don't advertise that. The bear repellent, as part of what we do, we could get in real trouble. Yeah, in fact, the EPA does not approve the bear language. So we try to avoid that. Wow, that's really something. That bear was really close. I mean, I don't want to, that was not like a trained bear or something, like it was not going to juggle.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
No.
That bear came every day to visit us. So we sort of, John, I think, named it. What did you name the bear, Emily?
Sarah.
Sarah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Mark, we continue to do this. We continue to serve charities around the world. My brother John and I devote our time to it. We thank you for the stuff you've given us to protect us while we're doing it.
Yes.
And we sure appreciate Insect Shield.
Yeah. Well, the feeling is mutual, and we'll, as I said, put a bunch of links to what you've been working on below the video here. It's been awesome to interview you both and learn about Two Parrot Productions and your long history of support for nonprofits. So I want to stress again that you still are offering grants to various nonprofits. They just have to apply with you,
Right.
like the Lions Club did. Yeah, so that's something we hope to promote as well. So John Kizorek and Bill Kizorek, it's really been wonderful to talk with you guys today and learn a little bit about what you do. Hope to have you back again.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay, thanks a lot.